Suzuki Avenis, the sportiest, zippiest ride in town that's loaded with next-generation GPS navigation.
সিমি কোড আছে
যদি মই কলোহেঁতেন আমি মাতিছো তেন্তে ৱেইট কৰালাহেঁতেন নহয়।
The new Suzuki Avenis, more zip for trip.
মই ব্যৱহাৰ কৰোঁ আটাইতকৈ সবল আৰু সতেজ চিমেণ্ট সূৰ্যা চিমেণ্ট। সূৰ্যা চিমেণ্ট, অটুট ঘৰ, অটুট অসম।
आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में, बड़े छोटे साथ आओ ऐश कर नाच गाओ मस्ती में। आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में।
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
Sharp analysis, uncut views, diverse opinions, one debate.
Evening Prime is brought to you by Misho, Amrutanjan Fruitnik Electro Plus, Dehydrate Feel Alive, TVS Jupiter 125, Zada Se Bhi Zada, Flipkart, India ka fashion capital, Everyday Spices, Leah Agarbatti, TVS Apache RTR, and Himalaya Purifying Neem Face Wash, Pimple Free Healthy Skin ka expert.
IMD predicts widespread rainfall over northeast in next 5 days. Heavy rainfall continues to batter Assam. Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma closely monitoring situation. Says government making all-out efforts to deal with crisis. One dead in devastating landslide in Sikkim. Army swings into action, rescues 8 civilians buried under debris. Heavy downpour also triggers fresh landslides in Meghalaya. ED heat on Rahul Gandhi continues. Congress Asean grilled for third day in National Herald case. Congress workers take to streets. Top party leaders detained. Senior police officer injured in alleged violence during Congress protest in Guwahati. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma vows action against perpetrators. Assam BJP sets its eyes on 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma makes strong development pitch. Indicates peace and development to be BJP's agenda. And opposition leaders huddle to discuss on upcoming presidential elections. Talks focus on putting up a joint fight against BJP-led NDA. Hello and welcome to Evening Prime. I'm Priyadarshini Medhi, and our top story at the minute is about the flood situation in Guwahati and neighboring areas. So we are going to be taking a look at how the situation is at the minute and the steps being taken to bring things to normalcy. So let us first look at the big update from the Meteorological Department. Well, the Met Department has predicted more rainfall in the entire Northeast in the next 5 days. Amid the ongoing spell of heavy rainfall, this fresh alert by the Met Department is indeed a case of concern. As per the Met Department predictions, widespread rainfall accompanied with thunderstorm, lightning, heavy to very heavy with extremely heavy rainfall is very likely to continue till June 19th. So, viewers, the Met Department has predicted more rainfall in the entire Northeast in the next 5 days. And meanwhile, amid the ongoing spell of heavy rainfall, this fresh alert by the Met Department is indeed a case of concern. And meanwhile, as per the Met Department predictions, widespread rainfall accompanied with thunderstorm, lightning, heavy to very heavy with extremely heavy rainfall is very likely to continue till June 19th.
Today's morning 8:30 hours IST inference, the east-west trough, it is running from northwest Uttar Pradesh to Assam across Bihar and sub-Himalayan West Bengal and Sikkim at mean sea level, and the north-south trough, it is running from South Bihar to South Central Andhra Pradesh across East Madhya Pradesh at 0.9 kilometers above mean sea level. और इसके आधार पर हम लोग अभी आने वाले 5 दिनों में जो हम लोग फोरकास्ट हम लोग नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न रीजन के लिए एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं, वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग मॉडरेट रेन इज वेरी लाइकली टू अकर एट मोस्ट प्लेसेस ओवर अरुणाचल प्रदेश, असम, मेघालय, नागालैंड, मणिपुर, मिजोरम एंड त्रिपुरा। यानी कि हमारे एंटायरली जो हमारा जो नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न क्षेत्र है, इसके जो इसमें मोस्ट प्लेसेस में हम लोग मॉडरेट रेन की संभावना जो है, इट इज वेरी लाइकली टू अकर।
And we have first reactions coming in from Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma on the prevailing flood situation in Guwahati. Well, talking exclusively to our Chief of Bureau Arundam Das, Chief Minister Sharma said that the situation is grim. Chief Minister Sharma said that the state is receiving more rainfall than the previous years, which he termed it as a new challenge. Besides, Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma said that his government is working on measures to bring the situation to a normal at the earliest. Well, Chief Minister Sharma also said that the focus right now is on relief and rehabilitation. In addition to this, Chief Minister Sharma said that the situation in Guwahati and Dima Hasao is a matter of concern. So, viewers, we have first reactions coming in from Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma on the prevailing flood situation in Guwahati. And meanwhile, talking exclusively to our Chief of Bureau Arundam Das, Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma said that the situation is grim. Chief Minister Sharma said that the state is receiving more rainfall than the previous years, which he termed it as a new challenge. Besides, Chief Minister Sharma said that his government is working on measures to bring the situation to a normal at the earliest. Well, Chief Minister also added that the focus right now is on relief and rehabilitation.
Reaction to Guwahati floods.
I think this time we are getting heavy rainfall, unprecedented rainfall. The situation is grim. So we have to analyze what more we can do. Last 3-4 years we get less rain and distributed rain, but this time by June we got rain double than the last year. So this is a new challenge before us. We never estimated that so much rainfall can happen. So Dima Hasao and Guwahati is a difficult situation, but immediately after the flood we'll analyze and we'll try to see that how we can bring more changes, more improvement.
What measures will be taken or has been taken
Immediately now relief, restoration and management. But once flood is over, we have to see that how long-term systematic improvement we can bring in.
Thank you very much. That was Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma talking exclusively to Northeast Live. Reporting from Difun, this is Arindam Das for Northeast Live.
Well, be it two-wheelers or even luxury cars, floods in Guwahati have spared none. Considered to be the gateway to the northeast, the region's largest city has seemingly donned the characteristics of the Italian city Venice, with residents in almost all areas waking up to water outside their homes. The only difference, well, in Guwahati, the situation is way too unpleasant, courtesy the floods. Well, authorities in Guwahati are working round the clock to reach out to flood affected people in parts of the city. The GMC has deployed as many as 17 water pumps to drain out the excess water from streets and roads, even as more pumps are being borrowed from the ASDMA to step up the process. While waterlogging remained in several parts of the city yesterday, the overnight drizzle hasn't helped things improve. The NDRF and SDRF continue to remain on standby through the night in flood-prone areas. At least 640 people are taking shelter in over half a dozen relief camps in Kamrup Metro. And as per Kamrup Metro DC, there are no fresh reports of any casualty due to landslides or floods in any part of the district. Meanwhile, as a precautionary measure, the district administration directed all educational institutes in Kamrup Metropolitan to remain closed for the day. And not only this, the Kamrup Metro District Administration is also assessing the situation in the hilly areas of the city, especially areas which are thickly populated. Well, relief camps have also been set up to shelter affected people, and essentials are being supplied to those in need. Water is being pumped out from areas like Anil Nagar, which have been worst affected by the flash floods. Drinking water is being supplied to people confined to their homes in some of the worst flood affected areas.
মানে এনেকুৱা অসুবিধাৰ কোনে কেনেকৈ পাব দেখাটো পাইছে ষ্টুডেণ্ট হৈ ক্লাছ যাব পৰা নাই কলেজ যাব পৰা নাই এনেকৈ কোচিং যাব পৰা নাই ঘৰ পলাব লগা হৈছে এনেকৈ ৰাখেনে গুৱাহাটী নিচিনা জাগাত নাই খোৱা লোৱাৰ কেনেকৈ পাইছোঁ আমি এন্ধাৰত গোটেই ৰাতি এন্ধাৰত কালি ৰাতি কাৰেণ্ট নাই 24 আৱাৰ্ছ কাৰেণ্ট নাই পানী নাই আমাৰতো পানী মটৰ দি উঠে কাৰেণ্ট নহ'লে মটৰ দি পানী ঘৰলৈ যাওঁ এতিয়া কি কৰিম আৰু উপায় নাই একদম ফাৰ্ষ্ট টাইম ইয়াত থাকিছোঁ বহুত বেছি পস্তাইছোঁ আৰু নাই নাথাকোঁ আৰু কেতিয়া হৈছে 2 ঘণ্টামান হ'ল এখন গাড়ী বাকি আছে তাতে
Meanwhile, reports of more landslides have come to fore from different parts of Guwahati. As per reports, a portion of the area near the TV tower in Kahalipara has collapsed, while another landslide has been reported from the Gandhi Mandap area in Ulubari.
বৰষুণ দি আছিলে তেতিয়া বৰষুণ দিয়াৰ পিছত মই যেতিয়া উঠিব লৈছিলো আৰু এনেকৈ মই একদম যেতিয়া ঘুমকে এটা শব্দ পালো শব্দ পেলাই মই একদম দৌৰ মাৰি গুচি গলো দৌৰ মাৰি গৈছে দেখিছো উঠি দেখি দৰ্জা খুলি উঠি দেখিছো একদম পুৰা ৱাল ভাঙি আছে আমি মানে কোনো মতে ভগৱানৰ কৃপাত মানে বাচিলো আৰু এনেকুৱা আৰু তেওঁ চেয়াৰমেন আছিলে জেএমডি চেয়াৰমেন আছিলে ফাৰুক মান্নান এনেকুৱা কিবা এটা ফানুন মান্নাক আছিলে আৰু তেওঁৰ পুতেকে লৈছিলে তেওঁ ঠিকাদাৰ তেওঁৰ পুতেকে লৈছিলে তেওঁৰ পুতেকৰ ঠিক নামটো মই এতিয়া নাজানো
And incessant rainfall has wreaked havoc in Dima Hasao too. In a sensational development, a 54-year-old man has been reportedly washed away in the Mahu River. The incident happened when the man identified as Darjoy Thousand was returning from paddy field. Well, search and rescue operations are already underway. So, incessant rainfall has wreaked havoc in Dima Hasao too. And in a sensational development, a 54-year-old man has been reportedly washed away in the Mahur River. The incident happened when the man identified as Darjoy Thousand was returning from paddy field. Well, search and rescue operations are already underway, and meanwhile, worth mentioning here, heavy rains have led to landslides at many locations of the national highway. The road stretch between Kilelo and Jatinga has also been damaged due to heavy landslides. Road communication between Haflong and Maibang has also been disrupted, and many places like Haflong, Maibang, Harangachau remains to be cut off from the rest of the district as there is no let-up in rainfall. Meanwhile, our colleague Swadip Hasam Sa, braving the heavy downpour, was on ground zero to highlight the situation. Listen in.
इन दिनों डिमा हासों में बारिश के कारण देखा जाए तो बहुत सारा जगह में रोड ब्लॉकेज हुआ है और सिलचर और हाफलोंग के बीच जो रोड है वो भी पूरे तरह से ब्लॉक है जैसे और जहां गुवाहाटी और हाफलोंग का जो रोड कनेक्टिविटी है वो भी फिलहाल धीरे धीरे ब्लॉक होने जा रहा है और इसमें मैं नया डेवलपमेंट दिखाना चाह रहा हूँ ये जो है ये जटिंगा का जो मेन पॉइंट के सामने में ही है ये यहाँ का सिलचर जो हाफलोंग जो रोड जो है वहाँ में दामचरा डिमूचोरा ऐसा बहुत सारा लोकेशन में जहाँ रास्ता वॉश आउट हो जाने की वजह से रोड जो है पूरी तरह से ब्लॉक है और कोई भी गाड़ी आना जाना भी फिलहाल बंद पड़ा हुआ है और एक तरफ लंका हाफलोंग रोड अभी भी पिछली बार जब 14 तारीख को जब जून मई महीने में जब हुआ था भूस्खलन हुआ बारिश के कारण उसकी वजह से वो अभी तक भी रिस्टोरेशन नहीं हो पाया। उसके कारण लोगों को में काफी तकलीफ भी था और उसके साथ साथ में इन 3 दिनों से यहाँ डिमा हासाओ में बारिश देने की वजह से और भी ज्यादा जो है लोगों के बीच में मुसीबतें बढ़ गया है। और अगर ऐसा बारिश देता रहा तो शायद और बहुत ही डिमा हासाओ का लोगों के लिए बहुत आगे मुसीबतें खड़ा हो सकता है।
Meanwhile, a mother's son duo sustained serious injuries after being struck by lightning at Bethel village. The injured victims were rushed to the Haflong Civil Hospital and are now stated to be in a stable situation. All right, more on this. We are being joined live with our correspondent Swadip Hassam Sa from Dima Hassao. So, Swadip, indeed a very sensational incident reported. Well, a 54-year-old man washed away. So, give us more details regarding this.
Yeah, we all know that before also the Dima Hassao district was very pitiable, very condition was what happened. We all know and before last month from 14 May to up to 21 and इन सारी जो घटना हुआ पहले जो घटना हुआ 3 व्यक्ति का जान चले गए थे और उसके साथ में और इन 3 दिनों में फिर से ये बारिश देने का वजह से फिर बहुत सारा लोग रोड जो है हारंगजाव से सिलचर जो आते हैं वो रोड पूरी तरह से ब्लॉकेज है अभी भी। और ये हम कहें हाफलोंग जो सिलचर जो रोड है जो दमचरा एक जगह है वहां पर फुली जो दमचरा जो एक रिवर है वो पूरी एक रास्ता को वास्तव करके लेके चला गया। और साथ में आज हमने देखा कि यहाँ का जो एस टर्निंग हम जो पॉपुलरली कहते हैं वो N4 एंड एनिस हाईवे जो है उन सारी जगह में अगर जो है बहुत सारा जो गाड़ी जो है दिन भर फंसा हुआ था और पूरी तरह से अभी जो है पूरी हाफलोंग जो है फिर से कट ऑफ हो गया है। और इनमें हम देखें तो डिमा हासाओ में फिर आज लाइटनिंग के वजह से जो एक व्यक्ति जो चांचिंग वामी और खुबुंग जो है वो एक फुल इंजर्ड हुआ है। उसके साथ में एक छोटे से बच्चे हैं वो भी एक थोड़ा सा माइनर इंजर्ड हुआ है। और टाउथू हजा में डोरजन थाउसेंड बोल के एक व्यक्ति है वो खेत से वापस आ रहे थे तब उन्होंने एक माहौर नदी को क्रॉस करने की कोशिश किया था तब एक व्यक्ति जो है नदी में बह गया है। और फिर अभी तक इस तरह से खबर आ रहा है और बहुत सारा हाफलोंग में जो घर जो है बहुत सारा अभी भी बहुत सारा रिस्की में है और बहुत सारा लोग अभी भी रिलीफ कैंप में रह रहे। और डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की तरफ से एक नोटिफिकेशन भी जारी किया गया है जहां जो लोग अपनी घर में जो सेफ नहीं है वो दूसरे घर पे चला जाए या फिर रिलीफ कैंप में चला जाने के सलाह भी दिए। और साथ में कोई किसी को भी बेवजह कोई इम्पोर्टेंस काम ना होते हुए कोई किसी को भी घर से बाहर ना निकलने के लिए भी सलाह दिया गया है। और लगातार इन दिनों बारिश होने की वजह से पहले से तो रेलवे कम्युनिकेशन भी डिस्टर्ब था ही और रेलवे का अथॉरिटी का कहने का मुताबिक था कि इन 2-3 दिनों में उनका एक कोशिश रहा कि रेल को फिर से वो लोग पटरी पे लाने के लिए या फिर सिलचर और हाफलोंग तक का। लेकिन अभी अगर इस तरह से लगातार अगर बारिश देता रहा तो और भी ज्यादा जो है वक्त लग सकता है। और फिलहाल जो है चारों तरफ फिर से हाफलोंग जो है फिर कट ऑफ हो गया है और इसको शायद रिस्टोर करने में और भी वक्त लग सकता है।
All right, Swadip Hassam Sa, thank you so much for all those details. Meanwhile, Sikkim has reported its first rain-related casualty as one person succumbed to injuries after being buried under debris due to heavy landslide. The incident has been reported from 17 Mile in Gangtok. At least 8 civilians were buried under the debris. However, in a swift and proactive action, the army executed a rescue mission to evacuate the civilians. Incessant rainfall since last 2 days in the area caused havoc, and the camp set up by National Highway authorities at 17 Mile suffered heavy landslide. And on receiving the input, troops of the 36th Medium Regiment swung into action and rescued 8 civilians civilians in a rapid move. All of them were treated at the nearest military hospital. However, one of them succumbed to his injuries at the military hospital. Sikkim has reported its first rain-related casualty as one person succumbed to injuries after being buried under debris due to heavy landslide. And meanwhile, the incident has been reported from 17 Mile in Gangtok. At least 8 civilians were buried under the debris. However, in a swift and proactive action, the army executed a rescue mission to evacuate the civilians. Incessant rainfall since last 2 days in the area caused havoc, and the camps set up by National Highway authorities at 17 Mile suffered heavy landslide. And on receiving input, troops of the 36th Medium Regiment swung into action and rescued 8 civilians in a rapid move. All of them were treated at the nearest military hospital. However, one of them succumbed to his injuries at the military hospital. And on to national focus now. Well, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi appeared before the Enforcement Directorate today for the third consecutive day of questioning in the National Herald money laundering case. Gandhi arrived at the ED headquarters on APJ Abdul Kalam Road in central Delhi around 11:35 a.m. with his Z-plus category CRPF security escort. He was accompanied by his sister and Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. Meanwhile, hundreds of Congress workers have hit the streets of Delhi and several senior leaders have been detained by police as they protested against the summons to Rahul and Sonia Gandhi in what the party alleges is a false case. Well, as per latest inputs, a meeting of Congress leaders including K.C. Venugopal, Bhupesh Baghel, Randeep Surjewala and Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary at Congress headquarters over the issue held a meeting at Congress headquarters over the issue of police's entry into the headquarters. And meanwhile, Mahila Congress workers in large numbers gathered at the protest site armed with placards to protest against Rahul Gandhi's ED summon. Well, heavy police deployment and layers of barricades have been outside the Congress office in New Delhi. Well, the police have detained several senior Congress leaders and Mahila Congress workers.
गुंडागर्दी की सब हदें पार कर अखिल भारतीय कांग्रेस कमेटी के कार्यालय में घुसकर कार्यकर्ताओं और नेताओं को मारना पीटना अब ये संयम की सब हदें पार कर गया है। दिल्ली पुलिस के वो कठपुतली अधिकारी भी जान लें कि ये याद रखा जाएगा और इसे चेतावनी मान लें कि इस गुंडागर्दी का हिसाब भी लिया जाएगा। हम गांधीवादी हैं, शांति प्रिय हैं, अहिंसक हैं, पर आप नेम प्लेट उतार कर अगर दफ्तर के दरवाजे तोड़कर गुंडागर्दी करेंगे तो फिर ये मत समझिए कि कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ता चुप बैठे रहेंगे। हमारा अखबार, हमारी पार्टी, हमारा पैसा हम चलाएं, बीजेपी के पेट में क्यों दर्द हो रहा है? ये दर्शाता है। ये 4 सवालों का जवाब दे दें। अखबार हमारा नेशनल हेराल्ड, भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस हमारी, हमने हमारा पैसा हमारे अखबार को चलाने के लिए दिया। तुम कौन हो भैया खामख्वा?
ये सरकार आज इस हद तक पहुंच गए, लगता है कि ये गवर्नमेंट ऑफ द क्रिमिनल, फॉर द क्रिमिनल, बाय द क्रिमिनल। अगर ये क्रिमिनल ना होते तो प्रजातंत्र की धज्जियां उड़ाते हुए आज कांग्रेस पार्टी की दफ्तर के अंदर घुसते हुए इस तरीके से बेरहमी से कांग्रेस वर्कर ऊपर डंडाबाजी नहीं करते। ये पुलिस खुद गुंडेगिरी और खुद क्रिमिनल क्राइम करते खुद पुलिस वालों ने।
देखिए, अब देश भी समझ चुकी है कि ईडी आज सिर्फ अमित शाह जी और प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी का एक मुखौटा बन गया है और देश भी आज इसको एक मजाक समझती है और ईडी कहीं ना कहीं उनकी जो छवि है उसी को नुकसान पहुंचा रही है। जिस प्रकार से एकदम ये राजनीतिकरण हो रहा है ईडी का, उससे कहीं ना कहीं देश की जो हमारी लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्था है और देश में जो विपक्षी की जो शक्ति आज लोग चाहते हैं कि विपक्ष और शक्तिशाली हो, विपक्ष देश की जनता की आवाज को उठाएं, तो ये कहीं ना कहीं जो एक राजा महाराजा जैसे स्वरूप हम प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी का देख रहे हैं, और अंत में अहंकार की हार होगी और सत्य की जीत होगी। वही तो हम पूछ रहे हैं कि जब जुडिशरी में ये केस चल रहा है, जुडिशरी को कोई सबूत नहीं मिला है, भाजपा के प्रवक्ताओं के पास कोई ठोस सबूत नहीं है, ईडी को तो हम जानते हैं कि ईडी बनता है सिर्फ विपक्षी दलों के लिए। ईडी ने कभी निष्पक्ष जांच दिखाई है, कभी भाजपा शासित प्रदेशों में गई है, कभी भाजपा के मुख्यमंत्री जो विभिन्न जो स्कैंडल्स और करप्शन में जुड़े हुए हैं, क्या उनको पूछताछ के लिए बुलाई है? तो कहीं ना कहीं ये जो मामला है राजनीतिक है, ये सब जान चुकी है और ये देश भी जानता है।
And it's not just the AICC headquarters, but Congress workers and supporters also staged protests outside the premises of the parliament against the ED's grilling of Rahul Gandhi. Take a look. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma has taken strong note of the alleged violence during the Congress protest in Guwahati, during which an ACP received injuries. Chief Minister Sharma said that action will be initiated against those guilty. Meanwhile, taking to Twitter, Special DGP Law and Order GP Singh said that lawful action will be initiated against the perpetrators. So, viewers, Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma has taken strong note of the alleged violence during the Congress protest in Guwahati, during which an ACP received injuries. And meanwhile, Chief Minister Sharma said that action will be initiated against those guilty.
পুলিচে কেছ লৈছে, আমাৰ লগত ভিডিঅ' ৰেকৰ্ডিং আছে। গতিকে আন অপৰাধীৰ লগত যেনেকে আমি কাৰ্য ব্যৱস্থা লওঁ, তেনেকে আইনৰ সহায়ত আইনৰ মাজত যিজনে এইটো কাম কৰিছে তেওঁৰ বিৰুদ্ধেও একশ্যন হ'ব। পুলিচে কেছ লৈছে, আমাৰ লগত ভিডিঅ' ৰেকৰ্ডিং আছে। গতিকে আন অপৰাধীৰ লগত যেনেকে আমি কাৰ্য ব্যৱস্থা লওঁ, তেনেকে আইনৰ সহায়ত আইনৰ মাজত যিজনে এইটো কাম কৰিছে তেওঁৰ বিৰুদ্ধেও একশ্যন হ'ব।
Well, ACP Dispur Himanshu Das was seen bleeding when he was hit below the eye during the Congress protest outside Rajiv Bhavan in Guwahati today. While talking to media persons, the policeman said that he was hit by the butt end of the party flag. And meanwhile, the incident took place when scores of Congress workers gathered outside the Rajiv Bhavan to protest against the ED summon against Rahul Gandhi.
বাহিৰী লগাইছে মাৰো বুলি মাৰিছে নি বাহিৰী লগাইছে বাহিৰ লগাইছে টানা ঘৰত বাহিৰ লাগিছে এই যে ফ্লেগ লৈ আছিল ফ্লেগৰ সেই বাদ লাগিছে।
Meanwhile, Assam Congress chief Bhupen Bora, who took part in the protest, was heard shouting slogans that police high-handedness will not be tolerated. Bora, along with Congress supporters, were detained by the cops. And now it's time for a very short break. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
A university is much more than just a place to get your education. It not only helps you build your career, but also your personality and mindset. At Assam Royal Global University, you will get the most suitable environment to gain knowledge and also grow as a person. The university has the best infrastructure with all the required facilities and best quality equipment for any kind of educational need.
মই ব্যৱহাৰ কৰোঁ আটাইতকৈ সবল আৰু সতেজ চিমেণ্ট সূৰ্যা চিমেণ্ট। সূৰ্যা চিমেণ্ট অটুট ঘৰ অটুট অসম।
आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में बड़े छोटे साथ आओ ऐश करो नाचो गाओ मस्ती में आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
Build your dream at the Assam Royal Global University. Success is not an overnight phenomenon. You need to work hard and go through the grind every day to achieve what you want. Engineer, fashion designer, or someone working in the field of medical science, or the CEO of your own company, you can dream anything and make that happen here at the Assam Royal Global University.
आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में बड़े छोटे साथ आओ ऐश करो नाचो गाओ मस्ती में आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में
অভূতপূৰ্ব ভেৰাইটি অপূৰ্ব মূল্য ডাউনলোড মিছো
সুগন্ধ ৰং আৰু সোৱাদ খাতি এভৰিডে জিভাত দিয়ে আচল জুতি এভৰিডে স্পাইচেছ 100% টেষ্ট এভৰিডে স্পাইচেছ বেষ্ট
आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में बड़े छोटे साथ आओ ऐश करो नाचो गाओ मस्ती में आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में
Welcome back. You're watching Evening Prime and moving on now. Well, Trinamool Congress Supremo and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee today held a crucial meeting with several opposition leaders and discussed presidential polls and put up a united fight against the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party-led National Democratic Alliance. However, Aam Aadmi Party has decided to skip the meeting. The Bengal Chief Minister has called at least 22 opposition parties for the meeting. On Tuesday, Banerjee met Nationalist Congress Party Chief Sharad Pawar at his residence in Mumbai separately to try and convince him to be the common opposition candidate for the top constitutional post. Pawar, however, has turned down the proposal as per reports. Meanwhile, the West Bengal Chief Minister is in the national capital to explore the possibility of formulating a common strategy with other opposition parties for the presidential polls. Worth mentioning here, the presidential polls will take place on July 18 and the results will be declared on July 21st. The presidential polls are based on an electoral college comprising votes of MLAs and MPs. The vote value of each MLA depends on the population of the state and the number of assembly seats. The strength of the electoral college is 10,86,431. Well, a candidate with more than 50% votes wins. And meanwhile, for this time, the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance is 13,000 votes short. So we was Trinamool Congress Supremo and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee today held a crucial meeting with several opposition leaders and discussed a presidential polls and put up a united fight against the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party-led National Democratic Alliance. However, Aam Aadmi Party has decided to skip the meeting. Well, the Bengal Chief Minister has called at least 22 opposition parties for the meeting. On Tuesday, Banerjee met National Congress Party Chief Sharad Pawar at his residence in Mumbai separately to try and convince him to be the common opposition candidate for the top constitutional post.
All we have decided there will be only one consensus candidate. Though
I personally, even all the members of the meeting, they unanimously suggested Sharad Pawar's name. Unanimously. If he is agreed, everybody will give him support. And if not, then the name should be come from the political parties. They will consult Sharadji, consult with others, and then it will be decided.
It's a very short resolution adopted by all the leaders and representatives of opposition parties who met today. In the forthcoming presidential election, which is being held in the year of the 75th anniversary of India's independence, we have decided to field a common candidate who can truly serve as the custodian of the Constitution and stop the Modi government from doing further damage to Indian democracy and India's social fabric.
Moving on now. Well, India is all set to host the special ASEAN-India Foreign Ministers meeting in New Delhi, marking the 30th anniversary of India-ASEAN dialogue relations and the 10th anniversary of the country's strategic partnership with the ASEAN. Well, the meeting will be held for 2 days starting tomorrow. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Singapore Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan, who is India's country coordinator, will co-chair the meeting. Besides, the ASEAN Secretary General and foreign ministers of member countries will participate in the meeting. Indonesian Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi and Spanish Minister of Foreign Affairs Jose Manuel Alvarez have already arrived in Delhi today for the meeting. Notably, this year has also been designated as ASEAN-India Friendship Year. It may be mentioned here that the ASEAN-India Foreign Ministers meeting is an annual event hosted by the ASEAN Chair. However, the special ASEAN-Indian Foreign Ministers meeting is the first ASEAN India meeting to be hosted by India. All right, back to region now. Well, after winning 8 successive elections since 2021, the latest being the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council polls, the BJP in Assam has set its eyes for 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Well, that is the message coming out of the party's second-day executive meeting, where Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma made a strong developmental pitch indicating that peace and development will be the party's main election agenda for 2024. In his address, Chief Minister Sharma urged upon the members to begin preparations for the run-up to the Lok Sabha polls. Here, the Chief Minister used the famous phrase, "Ye dil mange more," and said that while the BJP secured a good share of votes in the last elections, the performance should be better in 2024.
কাৰ্যকৰ্তা বন্ধুসকলক লোকসভা নিৰ্বাচনৰ বাবে সাজু হ'বলৈ মই আহ্বান জনাম। যোৱাবাৰ আমি অসমৰ পৰা ভাল ৰিজাল্ট কৰিছোঁ। 9টা সিট ভাল ৰিজাল্টৰ ভিতৰত পৰে। কিন্তু মোদী ডাঙৰীয়াই অসমক যিমান দিছে আমি তেওঁক আৰু বেছি উভতাই দিব লাগিব। প্ৰধানমন্ত্ৰী ডাঙৰীয়াক 2024 চনত 9টাৰ জায়গাত আমি 13টাত যাম, 12টাত যাম, 11টাত যাম, মই একো নকওঁ। কিন্তু ইয়ে দিল মাগে মোৰ। 9টাৰ ওপৰত আমি যাব লাগিব। কেনেকে যাম? দুৰ্বল বুথসমূহক আমি চিনাক্ত কৰিব লাগিব। প্ৰত্যেকজন বিধায়কক প্ৰত্যেকটো সমষ্টিলৈ দুৰ্বল বুথৰ তালিকা দিয়া হৈছে। দুৰ্বল বুথসমূহত যোৱা নিৰ্বাচনত ভোট নোপোৱাৰ কাৰণসমূহ বিশ্লেষণ কৰক। বিশেষকৈ মই এমপি সকলক অনুৰোধ কৰিম, সূক্ষ্মভাৱে যদি আমি দুৰ্বল ভোটসমূহৰ বিশ্লেষণ কৰোঁ, আমি 9টাৰ ওপৰত যাব পাৰিম। আৰু এই 9টাটো আমি মাৰ্জিন বঢ়াব পাৰিম। দুৰ্বল বুথৰ বিশ্লেষণ অহা এটা বছৰত আমাৰ আটাইতকৈ ডাঙৰ সাংগঠনিক দায়িত্ব হ'ব। আৰু দুৰ্বল বিশ্লেষণ কৰোঁতে সবলবিলাক যাতে দুৰ্বল হৈ নাযায়, সেইটোৰ প্ৰতিও দৃষ্টি আকৰ্ষণ কৰিব লাগিব।
Our Chief of Bureau Arindam Das also caught up with Chief Minister Sharma for an exclusive conversation. Listen in.
So you said you want Dil Mange more in Lok Sabha polls coming.
Last Lok Sabha, we won 9 seats. This time we want to win more seats.
So you said you want Dil Mange more in Lok Sabha polls coming.
Last Lok Sabha, we won 9 seats. This time we want to win more seats.
So you said you want Dil Mange more in Lok Sabha polls coming.
Well, the new Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council Council will take oath on June 20th. Well, incumbent CEM Tuliram Ronghan will lead the new council. And it may be mentioned that Tuliram Ronghan's second stint as a CEM of Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council. Well, it has been confirmed by none other than Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, who was in Difu today to attend the state BJP executive meeting.
When is the council forming and who is going to be next year?
On 28th at 12 p.m., new council will take oath and Tuliram Ronghang will be our candidate for the CEM.
Meanwhile, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma also thanked the people of Karbi Anglong and termed the KAAC poll results as a huge success for the BJP.
For the first time in the history of election, any political party has got 100 out of 100. So I think this is a unique record maybe in the entire country. I have not verified. But in such big election involving lakhs of people, winning 100% is a big event in a local body. Sometime in parliament, assembly, you got 100 upon 100. But in local election, getting 100 upon 100 is a big challenge.
You also said that success, you fear success, 100% success. What do you mean by
See, success give you lot of responsibility. When people give you 50 seats, then you feel responsibility up to 50%. But when people give 100%, then you will feel responsible up to 100%. So obviously, to absorb more success, you need lot of courage.
All right, in the other source now. Well, in view of the landmark decision taken by Centre yesterday, Eastern Air Command Air Officer Commanding-in-Chief Air Marshal Dilip Kumar Patnaik said that the new recruitment scheme Agnipath, approved by the Union Cabinet, would attract youths to serve in the armed forces as Agniveers for a period of 4 years. Well, speaking to media today, Patnaik said that this is a very unique scheme which the government has come up with after a detailed deliberation whose main focus is for the youth of the country. According to him, the scheme paved an opportunity for the youth to experience military life without having to make long-term commitment or engagement.
Government of India has announced human resource policy changes, and based on that, all the government departments of Government of India are on the way of issuing guidelines for the new things that are coming the way. At the outset, I would like to say that yesterday, the Honorable Raksha Mantri, as well as the three chiefs of the Army, Navy, and the Air Force, a very, very unique scheme which the government has thought of. It is more for the youth of the country and a requirement of the country that we go ahead with this Agnipath scheme. Part of the Agnipath scheme, we have Agniveers who would be selected to serve the Indian Air Force, similarly for the Indian Army and the Indian Navy for a duration of 4 years. It gives an opportunity for the India's youth to experience military life. The next sentence is very important, without having to make a long-term commitment or engagement. The youth of our country, as we have seen over the years, are better educated and possess a higher exposure to technology as compared to the earlier times. And it envisages enrollment of mostly ITI students, National Skills Qualification Framework candidates, as well as the NCC candidates, ensuring that they are exposed to an improved, tailor-made training curriculum which will enable them to transit quickly and effectively into the Air Force environment. One of the bottom lines is that it is going to start 89 days. Yesterday it was 90 days. It's got 89 days left before it starts rolling. We are very, very particular about the timelines. So 89 days from now, the scheme will start rolling.
And on to Manipur now. Well, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh today unveiled the statue of Maharaja Nara Singh on the western gate of the historic Kangla Fort. The Chief Minister paid rich tributes to Maharaja Nara Singh as part of the 172nd death anniversary. Chief Minister N. Biren Singh lauded the Maharaja's military acumen and his spirit of nationalism.
The government is unveiling the statue of the Maharaj Nara Singh, who sacrificed for the sovereignty of the Manipur during the 7 years deportation war with the Myanmar Burmese. So we salute him for his courageous and for his spirit to maintain the the freedom of the people of Manipur.
Meanwhile, the N. Biren Singh government of Manipur had earlier committed to build a Bifsing memorial tomb in honor of Maharaja Nara Singh's contribution to the people of Manipur. Unveiling the statue, the Chief Minister was joined by his cabinet colleague T.H. Bishwajit Singh, Govindas Kanthojam, Y. Kemchand, Nemcha Kimchen, and L. Sushindra. And moving on now. Well, India's first private train under the Indian Railways Bharat Gaurav scheme was flagged off on Tuesday. The maiden service left Coimbatore North Railway Station in Tamil Nadu for Sainagar Shirdi in Maharashtra. And meanwhile, according to a release by Indian Railways, the train, which under the scheme will be operated by a private operator, South Star Rail in this case, will depart from Coimbatore North every Tuesday at 6 p.m. and reach Shirdi at 7:25 a.m. on Thursdays. On its return journey, it will leave Shirdi at 7:25 a.m. every Friday and reach Coimbatore North at 12 noon on Saturdays. On its onward journey, the train will stop at Tirupur Road, Salem, Yalanghana, Dharmavaram, Mantralayam Road, and Wadi. The stoppage at Mantralayam Road will be of 5 hours so that tourists can have darshan at the Mantralayam temple. On its return journey, it will make stoppages only at Wadi, Dharmavaram, Yalanghanga, Salem, Erode, and Tirupur, the release noted. Meanwhile, the theme-based Bharat Gaurav trains were announced in November last year. The objective of the theme is to showcase India's rich cultural heritage as well as historical places to the people of India and the world. A host of services, including a doctor to attend to any emergency, are available on board. And on to international focus now, where China has announced plans to provide visas to Indian professionals and their families stranded in India for over 2 years following the strict visa restrictions imposed by Beijing due to COVID-19 pandemic. Separately, China is also processing requests of thousands of Indian students studying in Chinese universities who have conveyed their interest to rejoin their colleges and universities. On Monday, the Chinese embassy in India updated its COVID-19 visa policy after over 2 years to accept visa applications of foreign nationals and their accompanying family members wanting to go to China for resumption of work in all fields. Last month, a number of Indian professionals based in China urged External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to press Beijing to allow their stranded families to return. Besides the Indians, the Chinese embassy in New Delhi said that family members of Chinese citizens and foreigners with Chinese permanent residence permits going to China for family reunions or visiting relatives can apply for visas. Besides Indians, some of whom have Chinese spouses, many Chinese employees working for various companies were also stranded in India due to Beijing's blanket visa bans and flight cancellations. However, visas for tourism and private purposes remain suspended, the Chinese embassy announcement said. And on to sports news now. Well, India's Olympic gold medalist Neeraj Chopra set a new national record and finished with a silver medal with a throw of 89.30 meters at Paavo Nurmi Games in Finland, battering his own previous national record of 88.07 meters, which he had set in Patiala in March last year. This was Chopra's first outing in an international competition since his historic gold medal winning throw of 87.58 meters at the Tokyo Olympics on August 7, 2021. The 89.30 meters throw saw him finish second on the podium at the Paavo Nurmi Games behind the Finnish favourite Oliver Helenda, who achieved a personal best of 89.93 meters. Meanwhile, Grenada's world champion Anderson Peters finished third with a throw of 86.60 meters. Chopra's first competitive event after 10 months turned out to be a historical moment as the athlete nearly touched the coveted 90 meters rank mark. And meanwhile, which is considered the gold standard in the world of javelin throw. Chopra's 89.30 meters javelin throw has taken him to the 5th spot on the world season leaders list. The Paavo Nurmi Games, a gold event in the World Athletics Continental Tour, is one of the biggest track and field competitions outside the Diamond League. After scripting history at the Paavo Nurmi Games in Finland, Neeraj Chopra will next compete at the Quartain Games in Finland before heading to Sweden for the Stockholm leg of the Diamond League. Moving on now. Well, the world's first fishing cat survey, which took place at the Chilika Lake in Odisha, has provided the world's first population estimation of fishing cat. Well, the world's first survey, which was conducted outside the protected area of the Chilika Development Authority in collaboration with the Fishing Cat Project, has found that the lake has 176 fishing cats. The survey is the world's longest running research and conservation project on fishing cats, taking place in Chilika Lake, Asia's largest brackish water lagoon in Odisha. The survey on fishing cats in India started in 2010 and is currently underway in 2 states, Odisha and West Bengal. As per the Chilika Development Authority, fishing cats are endangered worldwide, and within their range of countries, they are classed as vulnerable on the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List of Threatened Species. Meanwhile, fishing cats were declared the state animal by the West Bengal in 2012, and the Chilika authorities announced in 2020 that the fishing cat was the lake's ambassador. Fishing cats, unlike most felines, enjoy being around water and are noted for their exceptional hunting abilities in watery environments. And back to Britain while moving on to Mizoram now. Well, Mizoram today observed the 87th anniversary of the formation of Young Mizo Association or YMA, the apex body of Mizos. The YMA members of each locality and village in Mizoram, as part of the celebration, planted tree saplings, cleaned their villages, and distributed money to the needy. Well, it may be mentioned here that the YMA was formed by English missionaries and some Mizo leaders in the year 1935 in Aizawl as the Young Lushai Association and was renamed as YMA later. Besides, the YMA is the largest, most comprehensive non-profit, secular, non-governmental organization of the Mizos. The YMA has branches across the state in Mizoram and also in Assam, Meghalaya, Manipur, and Bangladesh.
Today is the 87th YMA Day since its inception. YMA was incepted in 1935 and was started by the Christian missionaries and the pioneer missionaries of Mizos. Celebration is, taking place throughout the length and breadth of the state of Mizoram, and even outside the state of Mizoram, in the state of Manipur, Meghalaya, and Tripura, and even in Bangladesh also they are celebrating this YMA Day. The central YMA, gives out some, relief package or charity to different homes, shelter homes, addiction center, motherless baby home, these things. All together, we are distributing 1.4 lakhs of rupees. Then, in addition to that, for the relief of the natural calamities caused by this strong wind in the southern part, in the northern part, in the eastern part, and the middle part of Mizoram, we are distributing a sum of 7.5 lakhs rupees to those needy people. The charity that we have given out that I have mentioned is altogether almost 8 lakhs we have given out. But from the sub-headquarters, Group OMA and the branch OMA, they are also doing that, gives out of charity to the needy. Then besides that, this blood donation, many branch OMA, donated the blood. Recently, voluntary blood donation, we have received appreciation certificate for maximum number of blood donation. The YMA, Central YMA is receiving that kind of appreciation from Association of Voluntary Blood Donation. That is the how we have taken up. Then today also many branches going to take up this tree plantation in wherever available lands in their locality. So many other social work, cleanliness, then awareness campaign, different kinds of activities we're going to have today.
Well, news and updates continue on Northeast Live, so stay tuned for more news. Thanks for watching.
Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel